Prepare to strike hard and fast from the shadows with this build that offers both good burst and survivability.
I feel so. You've lost the quarry.
Hey guys, Exitus here to bring you an updated version of a build that I have come to rename the Shadow of Lyssa build. This particular build is centered around stealth as your primary source of utility, offense, and defense, using your high amount of burst to kill weaker yet higher priority targets, while utilizing your mobility and stealth for hit and run tactics to defeat tougher targets in duels to the death. I will talk about how I play and build as a Shadow of Lyssa to the greatest effect possible, as well as show some nifty tips and tricks to keep you ahead of the game and potentially carry entire matches. Let's first go over the build. I go 10-30-30-0-0. In Deadly Arts, I grab Mug, making my steel deal significant direct damage. For critical strikes, I get Furious Retaliation, where I gain Fury when I attack a target with less than 50% health for 10 seconds, and it has a 45-second cooldown. I also get Signets of Power, where when I activate a Signet, I gain 5 stacks of Might for 5 seconds. And finally, for the last trait, in critical strikes, I grab Executioner, where I deal 20% more damage against people with less than 50% health. For Shadow Arts, I gain Infusion of Shadow for my first trait, where I gain 2 initiative whenever I enter stealth. I also get Cloaked in Shadow, where I blind nearby foes whenever I enter stealth. And for the last trait, I get Shadow's Rejuvenation, where I gain health regeneration as long as I am in stealth. That health regeneration is around 350 health per second. For gear, I use the Berserker's Amulet with the Berserker's Jewel. In my primary weapon set, I use dual daggers with a Fire Blast Sigil and a Bloodlust Sigil. And in my secondary weapon set, I use the short bow with the Flame Blast Sigil. These sigils are not set in stone. You can use whichever sigils you prefer, but if you are going to use other ones, I do strongly suggest either the Sigil of Blood or the Sigil of Air. Finally, for the bread and butter of what makes the Lyssa Assassin so good is, of course, the Armor of Lyssa. This armor set gives you 165 precision, 10% increased condition duration. It allows your healing skill to generate 1 random boon for 10 seconds, and it allows your elite skill to generate every single boon for 5 seconds and also removes every single condition. Before anyone makes any assumptions about this build is not a nuke 'em and leave 'em build. While it is true that this build has very significant burst, its burst damage still doesn't compare to that of which most glass cannon builds can pump out. This build is more focused around timing and patience. It is at its strongest when you are against an opponent with 50% health or less. It doesn't matter who the target is. If they are below that threshold of health, you can take them down. You can fight in team fights one of 2 ways. The first is to play it safe with the short bow. Keep using the short bow's attacks until Furious Retaliation goes off. When it does, it means you've struck someone with less than 50% health and you're ready to get a kill. Locate the target with less than 50% health and then finish them off. The second way is to play as a brawler, where you utilize your spammable stealth skills and everything that comes with it to cause havoc in fights. Every time you enter stealth, you cause all nearby targets to become blind and you gain 2 stacks of might. Remember to always keep moving and try to avoid AoEs, and try to get off the full duration of your stealths to keep yourself healthy. This will make it harder for the enemy team to keep track of you. Although this style is harder to master, it is capable of taking on more than one enemy at a time. Let's talk about the Runes of Lyssa. If the target you plan to finish off is surrounded by allies with high damage and high crowd control, it won't matter to you. The boons provided by the Runes of Lyssa will protect you with both the protection and stability boons, allowing you to take much more damage than normal and making you immune to most CC effects. Basically, there's nothing stopping you from finishing your target off. Just remember to go back into stealth just before you finish someone off for good. Unfortunately, not all fights are that simple. Sometimes it'll come down to you getting into a duel with the death with a full health opponent, and more often than not, the target will be a lot tougher than you and be able to deal more damage than you. In these situations, do not waste your burst abilities right off the bat. Wait until they reach half health or lower before finally taking them down. Remember that for this build, it is better that you wait till you know you can land a backstab than it is to stealth and immediately attack. This is because of Shadow's rejuvenation trait healing you for about 320 health per second as long as you are in stealth, so you're not punished for taking your time. If necessary, you can use Cloak and Dagger over and over, activating it just as stealth is about to wear off, and as long as you have the infusion of Shadow trait, you can do this as many times as you want to heal to full. There's no shame in using Heartseeker once or twice, even against a full health target, to keep up with them, as long as you don't spam it and you keep your initiative high. Now that we've got the general playstyle of the build down, let's talk about mastering our utility slot skills. For utility slot skills, I take Shadow Step, Shadow Refuge, and Shadow Signet. I take Shadow Step for the long jump, stun breaker, and condition removal, which can lead to some pretty epic jukes. I take Shadow Refuge for the extended AoE stealth, which I can normally use to either revive someone or just heal myself and gain several stacks of might for it. Because Shadow Refuge counts as several instances of stealth, you'll gain several stacks of might as well as completely refill a depleted initiative bar with the infusion of Shadow trait and Shadow Arts. Finally, I take the Shadow Signet so I can more easily move about the map and keep up with targets that are trying to kite me. With Signets of Power, I can actually activate it for a damage boost. And if I'm in trouble, I can actually use it to blind someone even if I am stunned to save myself an extra hit, and potentially even get out alive for it. Be aware that with the Runes of Lyssa, Basilisk Venom is more than just a stun. Because it gives you every single boon and removes every single condition, you can actually use it as an oh crap button when you're in a tough situation, making you take less damage, able to run away faster, and dodge more often, as well as removing all those pesky conditions, making you more likely to survive a fight. So yeah, that's all I have to say about this build for now. If you have any questions, leave a comment or inbox me. I'll be happy to answer your questions. And if you liked it, like the video, subscribe, and I'll be sure to make more. And if you disliked it for any reason, leave me feedback on how I can improve. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you found it helpful.
You've got to make it stop, and you've got to indicate to the people who run it, to the people who own it, that unless you're free, the machine will be prevented from working at all.